Well, it looks like some of the people who are in charge over there at Star Wars Outlaws are now trying to get their voices heard when it comes to the backlash regarding their main character. Now, a lot of them spoke up when the initial backlash happened, when K-Vest looks were revealed to the world. You know, for all the modern audience, all the 200 people that were so excited to see an androgynous, ugly character from the 80s with a Pokemon Go body style, this particular person decides to want to speak out. Julian Girardi says that he rejects the criticisms of K-Vest and says it makes no sense to me and it's not worth engaging with.
U-G-L-I-N, you ain't got no alibi, you ugly. What, you ugly.
You see, this is the problem that I have with a lot of these people who are on that particular side, is that none of them ever want to have a conversation. They want to claim that you're in the cult. They want to claim that you are in the echo chamber. And yet we are the ones that are constantly trying to reach out for conversation to get our voices heard and to hear what they have to say and the reasons for why they did what they did. And yet they never want to have a conversation. They always want to say it's not worth engaging with. They always want to say to avoid the opposition and all that. And then they want to claim as if they're not in an echo chamber. I think it's ridiculous that they do this, and yet they constantly continue to do so. So let's get into this article, guys, from That Park Place. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. So it says Star Wars Outlaws creative director Julian Girardi addressed criticisms of the game's main character K-Vest, and specifically criticism of her looks. Now, a lot of people do not like the way that K-Vest has been portrayed, and rightfully so. If you guys see the motion capture actress, you'll realize that they completely nuked her face. They nuked her in general. They nuked her body, they nuked her face, they nuked her hair. I mean, essentially, it is not even the same person at this point. I don't even know why you would bother using her as a motion capture actress if you're not even going to try to maintain what she actually looks like in the slightest. Then it says Vest and Star Wars Outlaws have been repeatedly criticized for making the character ugly. Ex-user Manga Lawyer posted in March, total video game character assassination by feminist developers. Star Wars Outlaws 2024. Now, if you look at the two characters, I mean, my God, bro. Wow. Again, look at the motion capture model and look at what they created. I mean, this has to be one of the biggest travesties in gaming in recent memory, right? I mean, it is just ridiculous that they really thought that this was a good portrayal of the poor woman who decided to be the motion capture actress. And again, man, if you, let's say you were a motion cap actress, you can't even go tell people, hey, mom and dad, this is me in the video game, because when they go look at the video game, they're going to be like, where are you? Where are you? You're nowhere in this game. This is a totally different random character on the left. You are not even close to being the same person. So again, the backlash is pretty obvious. I mean, it's well-deserved, in my opinion, and yet they'll try to gaslight you and tell you that it was totally organic, that they did this because they wanted to. Yeah, sure. More recently, Manga Lawyer compared Star Wars Outlaws to Star Wars The Force Unleashed. He wrote, "We never knew how good we had it, bros." Yeah, I mean, it's amazing how back in the day, they were able to create the female form readily, easily. Now, all of a sudden, they either don't have the skill or they are absolutely just blatantly refusing to create female characters in an actual female light. It says ex-user Luis Romero also recently posted, "I was wondering if someone from the mod gaming community could fix the head and face model of K-Vest from Star Wars Outlaws so it could look more like the actual model that Ubisoft hired for the face model of such character, Humbly Gonzalez." Oh my God, bro. This is insane. The nose isn't even the same. Like, none of this is the same. Where's the butt chin? Why did you give her a butt chin and she doesn't have a butt chin here? I don't know. Anyway. Girardi responded to these criticisms, telling the Washington Post, "Kay is meant to be approachable, a petty thief who ends up barreling through this story, making bad decisions and centered with a lot of humor, humility, and toughness. That's what's important to me. And she's beautiful. Come on." What? What? Bro, just admit you like men. I mean, that's really what it is. Just admit you like men. Let's keep it simple. Let's stop the gaslighting here at this point. You are the kind of person that will call a 500-pound obese woman beautiful. That's the kind of person you are. You will openly lie because your ideology tells you have to do that. It's so insane, man. You can't even be honest with yourself or the people that you're talking to. He added, it makes no sense to me and it's not worth engaging with. If you engage with bad faith people, there's no nuance and no possibility of real dialogue. So all we can do is make the best game possible. So it's amazing that you try to call us bad faith people, and yet you're literally out here lying to everybody on screen because you know that if you don't call this character what it actually is, that you're going to get canceled in the industry that you work with. Let's stop the fucking bullshit about us being bad faith people. I think the bad faith people are the ones that tell other people don't engage in dialogue. I think the bad faith people are the ones who are out here avoiding conversations left and right because they don't think it's going to be real dialogue, whatever the fuck that means. I mean, just having a conversation with someone should produce enough real dialogue to the point where at least both sides can get a little bit of their point across. But you don't even want to engage in that in the slightest. You don't even want to give it an opportunity or even hear the other side because your echo chamber has to be maintained. I keep saying this all the time. They have to maintain their echo chamber. You guys don't understand how good they had it when Twitter was a leftist haven. When Twitter was pre-Elon Musk, they were able to do whatever the hell they wanted. Their echo chamber was maintained by big tech themselves. They didn't have to block anybody. They didn't have to do any maintenance themselves because big tech was doing all the silencing for them. They were silencing anybody who was a centrist or right-leaning. They silenced all of them. They didn't let you see their points of view, nothing. And they were getting banned left and right. Garrity previously described Vess as a much more modern protagonist, whatever the fuck that means. He told Game Informer, I think there's so much more modern protagonists than we usually see in games. He then explained she's somebody who is very much a street thief, who gets thrown into things that are beyond her control, and then she kind of has to think her way out. And that makes it a little bit more relatable than somebody who has all the confidence and sarcasm and just comes off as somebody who is not believable. How is this believable in the slightest? Again, what do you mean by a modern character? How is this character more modern than anything that came before it? What is it about this character that makes it modern? They're never going to be able to answer that question, and that's when you hit them with the obvious truth. You are making this character androgynous. You are making this character ugly. You are making this character essentially a man because you need to adhere to the trans audience. That's really what it is. You are making all of these characters so that trans people don't get offended by how beautiful they could have been because they know that most of them are never going to be nowhere near as beautiful as the original actress that does the motion capture. So what are we doing here? I mean, it's so obvious that you're lying to everybody to try to save face. Stop trying to save face. Just tell the truth for what it is. You wanted to make this character ugly on purpose because I would rather you admit that than you admit that you don't have the skill to properly portray a feminine character on screen in a video game. That means that you essentially don't know how to do your job, right? If you're designing a character, motion capture and all, and the Eastern developers are able to make them beautiful and feminine and real, and yet you're out here saying this is a modern character because why? It has no hips, no tits, no ass, fucking like a boyish hairstyle, man jaw, butt chin, sharp. Like what is it about this that's modern? You can never answer that question because they're never even going to get to the point where they're even asked that question. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.